Yeah, you can sign up on the.
What?
All right, you're in charge. Good job. Hilarious. It's you like 25 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Mr. Viera, you there? Good. Mr. Viera, you there?
No, I would probably wait till Mr. Vera comes. I'm in charge of said snake. Said no snake authority.
Is he here? Hi, Edward.
Hi, so you can say hi, Miss Beer. Yeah,
You ask him that question yourself.
Okay, everybody, real quick. Okay, everybody needs to grab one of these concept maps. You need to go back to your seats. You need to work with the people at your table. I want to make sure that all your cell phones are put away. I've already taken away 4 cell phones today. I'm shooting for 6. So, I don't want to see anybody online. Put away your cell phones, put away your iPads, and then work on this concept map. You have 10 minutes while I take rolls, so that means that everybody should be in their seats. That is a little bit embarrassing.
Like I was just sitting there waiting for the teacher.
I'm like 30 pages in. I'm surprised I'm still like yeah, I think so. At least I'm reading 30 pages in.
Cell phones away, everybody in your seat. Take a roll right now.
I can easily like not yeah.
Grab all the stuff that's in all the plastic bins and cross it like this, like here.
Every time I read it, it's super tired.
They need to have this.
Keep going.
little bit of cleanup. Okay, we got 10 minutes, guys. Everybody in your seats, right? Because I gotta take roll. I gotta take roll. Title this phylogeny Poggle, mass extinction Poggle. Put it right here, Poggle like this, see? P-O-G-I-L, okay? Actually, I already have this. Mass extinction Poggle. Can you make one that says mass extinction real quick for me?
Right here.
Yeah, man, do that real quick. And then place that in there, yeah.
So where was
Where the box full of these are, did like you gave them back to me. Probably in the back of the company. We're gonna do a Kahoot. Now, listen, 17 question evolution Kahoot in just a minute. First, we're gonna go over all the questions from the amino acid sequence lab. If you're good, there's only been one period that has gotten to be able to do this. There's a music Kahoot, like a current music Kahoot that my class absolutely went like completely bananas, right? Good. So towards the end of class, if you're well behaved, there's a 12-question music Kahoot. The first one is like a picture of a rapper and it says, what rapper is this, right? And I was shocked to get like 8 of you guys got it wrong. I got 12 out of 12. Actually, no, I didn't. I got like 10 out of 10 because there was some like pop music thing that I had no idea who the hell. I'm not hip on Carly Rae Jepsen.
OMG, I am.
Anyway, so keep that in mind in terms of behavior. If you guys are ill-behaved and not on task, I will not give you that Kahoot towards the end of the period. But let's take a roll first. I'm going to post this concept map up in just a moment. And I'm going to call on people, right, that don't have their iPads out, that don't have their phones out, right, that do not have the internet answers out, that are trying to do this by themselves, right, that have not Googled the concept map evolution, that are literally trying to do this on their own, with the people at their table. We will go over it. I'm going to give you the answers, but I'm saying, I need you to think and collaborate as a group first. Any monkey can Google who's the concept map and hit enter and then plug in things. That's not the purpose of this activity, right? If you have some blanks, leave them blank. We'll fill them in later. I didn't mean to put it on the spot. Like, you're not the only one who's done it. Like 7 people have done it. That's what I would do if I was here. A skink, let me show you. A skink, not a skank.
I know. This is
Hey, you guys are going to see your grade drop today after I input all your guys' grades because so many of you have not done the evolution quiz or a homework number 3 or homework number 4. Now, here, you will, let me finish what I'm saying before you all rudely interrupt what I'm about to say because I'm going to answer all your questions, okay? There's so many students that have not done it. Even after I gave you a week to do it, even after I give you time in class to do it, even after I text you and remind you, please do this online quiz, I still have 35% of you that are just like, nah. So cool, your grade just dropped 10%. Congratulations, okay? Now, you have to do that. You must then find me, seek me out, show me on your phone that you did the quiz and there's the grade. And then make sure that I, right there in front of you, pull up your Infinite Campus and then update it. Because I will do 0 extra work because you did not do your quiz before it was due. So if you just did it online and expect that I'm going to see that and then update your grade, that's a pipe dream. That's not going to happen. because I have like 50 notifications on my Schoology like every 2 days. So if you think that I go and look at those and then go click onto your Schoology, click on your period, figure out what you got on the quiz, go back to Infinite Campus, click on that period, look at your grade, and then update your grade, and then do that with like 80 kids, no, that's not going to happen. You're going to find me, okay? And that same thing goes with any 0 that you have on your grade. You must seek me out and nag me until your grade is updated and accurately reflects all the makeup work that you did. Otherwise, it's going to be a 0. Right? So you need to do the legwork. Question?
When is extra credit? Like, you do extra assignment?
Yeah, like there was an extra credit. There's a couple extra credit things that I've done. I'll input those like before, probably before the next grade update.
No, I mean, is there like a due date or is it
Due date? What extra credit? What are you talking about?
for any?
Yeah, I gave a due date. It was like February 6th on the DNA model.
Okay, so you already.
Yeah, there was a due date on that. Yeah. Okay, let me do. Does anybody have? It looks like
Angie's not here.
Angie and Lucas.
That is her name.
I told you her name.
Here, I have a question. That's not like credit. What is peace? I have an actual present. Oh my god.
You don't know that.
That makes it more. Okay.
Yes. This is a skink. Guys, a skink is a lizard.
And a snake?
No, it's not a snake. It's a lizard. So look. Here's a common ancestor between lizards and snakes, right? Think of it like this. Think of it like snakes have evolved, right? Lizards have continued to evolve. This is different than a legless lizard. A legless lizard is much more closely related to a lizard than it is to a snake. If you look at a legless lizard, I can just Google legless lizard. I want you to look at a legless lizard and see what it looks like.
It's a snake.
But look at the face. I want you to look at a legless lizard.
It's really dirty.
Does it look like it?
Oh, I mean,
Now,
lighter than the rest of it.
a legless lizard, although it looks a lot more like a snake, is actually a lot more closely related to lizards than it is to snakes. Because they branched off from lizards much more recently than snakes branched off from a common ancestor to have from lizards.
It wiggles the same though? Like a snake?
Yeah. They've evolved. This is an example of convergent evolution. Now, what I want you guys to see is, okay, look at these legs.
Those are arms.
Arms, limbs. What type of structure do you think that is?
Cartilage.
No. Shh. There's 3 types of anatomical evidence, anatomical structures that support evolution. One of them is a vestigial structure. Another one is a homologous structure. And the third is a analogous structure. Those 3 structures will be in your Kahoot. They will be in the review. They will be in the test. They were also in the online quiz that was due on Monday. If you do not understand, and they're also in the notes, and they were also in the reading. And I've also lectured about them. So that's like 6 different places, and they'll also be in the defining terms that I'm going to give you to review before the test. So if we're hitting it like 6 times, probably a concept I'm going to test you on. Question. That's going to be next week, not next class, the class after. Got it? That, and also check your binder, check number 4 is on Schoology and the due date. Although I don't think I actually sent a link. Hold on, let me check real quick. I need to. This is how fast I think. Yeah, I did put the link in there. So if you click on the binder check 4, look, check it out. Mr. Vieira, if this is an old binder check, I don't get it. Look, guys, right here, down here. Mira. Now, bam. That's the binder check I'm looking for. Take all the other stuff and put it away. Put it on the back or whatever. Put this stuff on the top so that when the person's grading it, it's easy. They start at warm-up number 6. And you'll notice that that shouldn't even be there because, look, because that was the trivia question. So you probably don't have anything in your binder. So everything else, oh, look, times 2. Okay, times 2. These web, actually, this will be times 2 as well. Evolution Web Quest.
Hey man, chill.
Okay, now listen. So's this lab. So's the build. No, not the building piece.
No, make that.
No, not the wildebeest. Sorry. Those two. Shh. This is the evolution concept map that you're doing today. We are going to be doing this assignment today. This is what we did last class. I'm going to go over the answers today. Okay? Yeah, I have them all. Right. Can somebody, hey, Chris, can you please pass these out? Yes, I'm sorry, Samantha. Okay, so we'll just pay attention to when I go over them and then I'll fill in. Is this a molecular evidence? Dog breeds. No. Artificial selection is dog breeds. Yeah. DNA. Okay, ready? Alright, what's up? Don't worry about it right now. Let's do this first and I'll let you do faster. Okay, let me get everybody's attention. Ready? I'm gonna call on you. We're gonna start right here. Evolution means this right here. Now let's go with Ezio. Change over time. Yes. Ezio. That can result in what? New species. Very good. Now we're going to go here. Occurs through the process of what, Miguel? Okay. Rigo, right next to you. I'm right here. Evolution occurs through what process? Natural selection. Now, Rigo, this is also known as what?
Luis.
There you go. What she said, survival of the fittest. Now, let's go over here. It can also occur through artificial selection, which is the same, an example, Pauline, is what? Dog breeds. Another example would be like everything you've ever bought at a grocery store. And everything that's ever been on a farm. And anything that's ever been involved with agriculture or human intervention when it comes to livestock.
Wait, what?
Carla.
You're saying like apples? and
Apples
bananas
are all the product of artificial selection, yes.
I don't know what it is.
Like humans have
I thought
altered
it
them.
was only broccoli.
No. Any, like corn, potatoes,
What?
every single solitary thing that's ever been grown on a farm, whether it's an animal or a plant,
Baby.
has been genetically altered since the very, very first humans ever started with agriculture. Because they're only going to use the seeds of the best that came from that crop. And over thousands of years that we've been using agriculture, we've changed the first original apple, right?
How is that?
Now, how dramatically it's changed, it depends on the crop and it depends on the history of the agriculture of that crop. But everything has changed. If you look at the ancient cow, right, it looks nothing like the breeds that we see today. Anytime man gets involved and picks and chooses which seeds to plant and which individuals to breed, that is going to create evolution, not naturally, but artificially. But you know what? That's what makes our species hella rad. Because we are the only species to evolve that does something like this. And that's why we kick ass and all the other ones have gone to be extinct. Now we've gotten a little crazy and now we're destroying our environment, which is not good. We might be increasing the extinction rate of others around us, which is bad for us, but whatever. Alan? All right, let's move on because we're taking too long on this warm-up.
Let's go.
David Moreno, molecular evidence such as what?
DNA.
Okay, thank you. Malia, fossil evidence such as? Whale bones, very good. Now, these types of things like forelimbs of bats or legs on a skink is what type of evidence? Kamara. Kamara, right here. Kamara, I'm asking Kamara. Anatomical evidence. Shh. Kamara, legs on a skink is what type of anatomical evidence? Do you have it, yes or no? Okay, you don't. Harrison. Nope. Homologous is here. This is what?
Oh.
Vestigial. Vestigial structure is one that we don't use anymore. This would be homologous structures. Same structure, different function. Right? The arms of a bat, the arm of a whale, the arm of a man, and the arm of a cat, they come from the similar origin because they have a recent common ancestor, but they've evolved to have different functions because they've gone to different environments. The analogous structures, like the wings of a bat and the wings of an insect, they actually come from a very different source of their structure, right? Because they have a very much more distant common ancestor, but they've evolved to have a similar function. Now, let's go back here. Established the theory of evolution. Let's go with Hazel. Who established the theory of evolution? Darwin. Very good, right? He was what, Hazel? What type of scientist was he? Naturalist. Very good. Let's go with McKenna. McKenna, he traveled to the? Where he observed what with beaks?
Fishes.
And then what here?
Turtles with different shapes of shells.
Very good. Okay, so keep this in your binder check under work. Exactly. This is going to be called your evolution concept map. Yes, question. I'm not really. Now we're going to go over the answers to the last amino acid sequence lab, and this is how I want it done. I'm going to be kind of strict and kind of you're gonna think that I'm going to be kind of acting like a jerk a little bit because I'm going to hold you hardcore accountable to these sentences. Now, you guys just got past back the amino acid sequence lab that the sub collected. Go ahead, by the cast. Now, this is something you're going to do later, guys. Yeah. A pipe dream is like, it's not going to happen, dude. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be better than LeBron James in basketball one day. Okay, that's a pipe dream. Let's be honest. I just don't have the genes. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna put 10 minutes on the clock. 10 minutes. You are gonna look at your answer and compare it with the person next to you. They are gonna look at their answer and compare it to yours. You guys are gonna see if there's any similarities, if there's any differences, if yours needs to be better, if theirs needs to be better. I am gonna call on you on these answers. I'm not gonna go over everyone, but I'm gonna go over most of them. And when I call on you, I'm going to be very, very strict. You are going to read what you wrote. Don't answer to me like we're having a conversation. Don't look at me in the eye when you answer me. Look down at your paper and read. If you memorize what you wrote, I still want you to read it out loud. Does that make sense? It is very important to me that you are reading what you wrote, that you compared what you wrote to the person to the left, to the person to the right. If they're clueless, go to the person behind you, go to the person in front of you. David, if you were absent.
No, I didn't get it back.
Did you do it? There's one no name, where is it? You're used to it, Jason. Did you do this?
They put that back into the white cardboard ones under period 6.
And take the ones that are falling out of period 5 and shove it back in there as best as possible. Okay, guys, I'm putting. Hey, Tracy, have you been looking for this?
Tracy.
There you go. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Go! Right here. When I call on you, you better have some intelligence to read, or at least complete. Then finish it now, you have 10 minutes. Fantastic. So then help out Michael. Michael, yes. Then swap, make sure that it's really good, or is it, whose is better? Why would I even care? You need to stop that because you're kind of approaching a line inappropriate, and I don't want to be on your ass.
What are we doing?
Got it? Everybody have one of these that says rock coloration of rock pocket mice? Folder in the biology bin. Do you have a pen? Title is put MOLGEN, molecular genetics of pocket mice. That should be able to fit. They all have to be complete sentences, and I'm going to be hardcore strict on that. This is going to go in the binder check. This is going to be one of the ones that I'm going to be a hardcore stickler on when I do a spot check when you guys come up and give me your binder check rubric. So every 3 or 4 people, I'm going to open that and be like, I'm going to go right to the back, and I'm going to be like, nope, you're not getting 20 points out of this, or 10 points. You're going to be getting 4 points. You're going to get 2 points because you did not answer the questions in complete sentences. You did not answer these questions. We went over them in class.
So we're going to go over them right now.
Yeah. Not every single one of them, but probably every third one. No, that was an old warm-up, like from the last warm-up, from last class.
Is this biology or the other thing? Vieira.
What?
Biology?
Regular biology, yeah.
What's there?
Put that in the color pencils.
Wait, what's 4? Yeah, mold. Mold.
I mean, no, I got it.
Yeah, compare. Read. You guys know this. When I ask you, how do you know that those things are related, and how are those things not related, you better have a really good answer. Tell me, how do you know that chimpanzees are the closest related? And if you tell me they have the least amount of differences, guess what I'm going to follow that question up with?
What are the least amount of differences?
Differences in what? What do you mean differences?
Well, that's what I mean.
Right? So you got to know what those numbers represent. When the wheel of death lands on you, you're answering 2 questions. And I'm going to the next one. And the wheel of death, you're going to answer the next 2. Maybe I'll skip you, Niger. I think I've added it. I think so. It asks to explain why, right? No, it's a sentence. I can do it in one sentence. Right? The chimpanzee is closest to a human because it has the least number of differences in the amino acid sequence of the hemoglobin protein. If you don't understand what that means, then you have no idea what you did in there in this lab. Right? When you were going through that chart and you were saying, oh, this is different than that, what is different? Well, that's your baby from home ec or whatever? Who's babysitting? Where's your child? You would just put your child in the water?
It's off. It's off. Huh? It's off. I had it.
Oh, it's just
But I
a.
got the baby. There's only one. During class? Yes. Well, you had to swim. I'm not allowed to be on. I have to go in the morning. Oh, yes, you did too. I forgot.
4 minutes.
Do you actually want to be?
Like a month before. But it was because I had it on my laptop.
Take out the battery.
You have to put it like oh, well, she has to do it.
I'm just hoping.
He sounds like a retard. He just feels way too Chris is like, good looks. I'm so hurt.
Yeah. I didn't see that. Jordan. Jordan. What are you eating? Huh? What are you eating? Oh, the bear. Oh. I was like, you're eating like this. Like, on
Why?
You know this little corner of me?
You're right.
Isn't that? No, I think that she got the cookie like this. Thank you, bro. Happy birthday. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Did you get asked out?
What?
You have a boyfriend now?
No, I don't even know who it is.
That's
No idea.
That's scary.
I'm
So
not
not
a
a
man.
It's
I like how all of this is on video, by the way.
Wait, I'm still
Walk outside, 3 minutes later, we're talking about Joey's Bud Light. I only have Diet Mountain Dew. You know what? You have to drink it in the middle room back room. Can't bring it out. Use the pass. Because it tastes better than the other one. Alright. They're all bad.
Sure, I don't care. You know how much crap I do in my body that's so bad for me when I know about it anyway? What makes you think
think that just because I know better doesn't have any effect on my willpower. Do you know how many people know like this donut's not good for me? I don't need to be a biology teacher to know that eating a bunch of donuts are bad for me. But yet donuts. If I drank Diet Coke because I thought it was better for me than regular Coke, then I would be an idiot. I drink Diet Coke because I like the way it tastes.
That's nasty.
I thought diet is like worse, like that.
Yeah, it has chemicals.
That's literally what he just
Ready?
said.
No.
Wheel of Death. Okay, now when this person gets called, everybody shh. Yes. Wait. All right.
You and Katie.
Katie, I want you to answer questions 1 and 2. They are, class, on the basis of the hemoglobin similarity. What organism appears to be the most closely related to humans? Explain your answer. Read what you wrote. Hemoglobin, yeah, hemoglobin syndrome.
Okay.
So it's the protein that we studied in the part A.
Okay.
When you actually were looking at the little 3 letters, the amino acids, and then you were right when you were doing this part of the lab, right here. That's the hemoglobin, right? The 87th amino acid, the 101st amino acid, the 110th. Is this the entire protein class?
No.
Oh, my kingdom for somebody who could tell me actually how many amino acids there are in
A
hemoglobin.
lot.
146. Someone who read the actual background. Now, we skipped the first 86, and we skipped the last 30, just because, you know, we don't want you to do that much work, right? Let's just focus on a little part of the gene. And that's what we're going to be doing later on in class, where we're going to look at the gene that of the mice, the rock pocket mice, that caused them to become light and dark. All right, so let's go back to Katie. Katie, read your answers for 1 and 2. Read what you wrote.
Okay, no, I read it.
Shh.
Okay, chimpanzees because they have the least amount of differences in their, well, not reading out loud, it does not make sense.
Let me see. Let me read it.
Go ahead and read
And we'll fix it out loud. Chimpanzees, comma, because they have the least amount of differences, are the most hemoglobin similarities in, and you stop. Okay, so clearly something wrong with the sentence, right? Alright, so let's read another example of what exact same. So this is what happens when you copy the person next to you. And even though you read the sentence, this is why we read things out loud, right? Because if you read them out loud, you're like, that sentence doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make, let's revise and re-edit that sentence. Now I know you know what to write, right? They have the least amount of differences in the what? Just tell me that. Now let's have a conversation. In the, specifically what part? In the amino acid what? Sequence. They have the least number of differences in the order. You could have put the order of amino acids, or the amino acid sequence. That's what we were counting. You guys, we were looking at position 87, same. 88, same. 89, same. 104, right? Later on, oh look, they're different. That's one difference in the amino acid sequence. Proteins are like long chains. Amino acids are the links. If I look at the protein of a monkey, or a gorilla, or a horse, are there chains? Do they have the same link in the same position as our proteins? Guys, I don't want to compete over conversations when I'm giving direct instruction. Got it? That's the whole objective of this exercise, is for you to make the connection between DNA and evolution. Because if you can't, then it's all magic pixie dust, and I don't really get how, but somehow we adapt to our environment. No, this is how. Okay? All right, thank you.
number 2.
You got number 2. What's number 2? Let's read.
All right. The least closely related to humans is the wheat because they have the most amount of differences in the amino acid sequence.
Is the wheat, except you were looking at this, right? And you were, this is cytochrome C. I needed you to look at this.
Oh,
Now, What's the only thing you need to change about that sentence?
Hemoglobin.
Not wheat. Wheat doesn't even have hemoglobin. So there's no way I can compare hemoglobin between me and wheat because hemoglobin evolved in animals much later. So you need to use this chart. This is part A to answer the part A question. And so of these, I only compared humans, hemoglobin to chimps, gorillas, rhesus monkeys, horses, and kangaroo. So now looking at that data, Katie, what should have been the one that had the most differences in the amino acid sequence? Class? Yeah. That's an ape. That's an ape. That's a monkey, which is further related than us. Here's a horse, neither an ape or a monkey. That's not a primate, but at least it's still a mammal. It's a placental mammal. Let's go farther even back. That's a marsupial mammal. Okay, so it's much more different than us. So we see we got to go further and further back in time between when there was some sort of mammal that I share as a common ancestor with kangaroos. I don't have to go very far back in time, right? Right here, to find it. Here, kangaroos would be somewhere back here, right? I don't have to go very far back in time to find a common answer between me and chimps, maybe 7-8 million years ago. So at that time, that common ancestor had the same hemoglobin with every other member in its population. And somehow they separated. Certain members went over here and evolved to be chimps. Other members evolved in the pathway that led to the humans. Now that's millions of years. That time that's passed, random genetic mutations have accumulated. Every generation that we make copies of sperm and eggs, a random mutation is going to occur. Now they start landing on our genes. If there's been very little time, and 8 million years, guys, is not a lot of time, then there should be fewer differences. But if there's been like 50 million years, or 100 million years, you're going to see more random mutations pile up in our DNA over time. And so we use DNA evidence to track how closely related we are by not only just studying the DNA, but what does DNA control? Well, DNA is the instructions for proteins. So I can study the proteins. It's just like studying the DNA. Slightly different. Wheel of Death. Questions 3 and 4. Get ready.
Yes. Oh, God bless.
Ezio, on the basis of differences in cytochrome C, which organism is most closely related to humans?
I said humans are most closely related to chimpanzees.
You would be correct because there's 0 differences in the cytochrome Z amino acid sequence between our 2 genes. What organism appears to be least closely related?
Red bread mold and wheat.
Yeah. Now, which one is more? Which one? How many differences between us and bread mold? Look at your chart. Look at your graph.
48.
Right? I would take this data right here, guys. I'm going to take this data right here. And look, 48. That's bread mold. So I would graph that data, right? Remember, bread mold is going to be 48. It's going to be all the way over here. That's going to I know it's a different color. If I graph all of it, this one's going to have the bar that goes out the furthest, right? This means there are the most differences. So I would have to go back pretty far back in time to have a common ancestor between me and mold. We're talking like over billions of years, right? When the first fungus popped up. Thank you. Oops. Now we're going to go 5 and 6, right? E. 5 and 6. Which ones have the most closest relationship?
Is it the snapping turtle?
Correct. What did you give as your reason?
Because they are less, they have less than 5 differences. Like, yeah, they have.
Here's what I said. You wrote, because they are less than 5 differences off. Differences in what? Between them and who? There is no data that compares rattlesnakes to snapping turtles. The data shows the differences between rattlesnakes and what? Humans. So what this shows is that between humans and a rattlesnake, there's 14 differences. So that's how long back we had to go to have a common ancestor with rattlesnake. Between humans and snapping turtles, there's 15 differences. Between us and tuna, there's 21 differences. Between us and pigeons, there's 12 differences. So it looks like 14, 15 differences between us and turtles and rattlesnakes. Those must be closely related, right? What's another reason that somebody could obviously put down? What are both of those organisms? What are they?
Well, they both live on land and don't fly, unlike the, because I put the snapping turtle and the rattlesnake are most like closely related to each other because like a snapping turtle and a tuna, like a tuna like swims in like the ocean, and then a pigeon flies, and so a snapping turtle and a rattlesnake are the only two that live on land.
Great reason. So you were looking at the morphological differences between the two of them, and that would be one way that you can study them. Exactly. There are some reptiles that are in the water for most of their life, but they do tend to, like an alligator or something, but they typically do have the ability to come out. Did anybody put they're both reptiles? All right, there's a lot of answers to this. All right. And then last question, we'll do number 6. And then we'll just leave the rest to just leave it in your binder, guys. You can get that from a student. Yeah, we're just going to do number 6. We're going to stop here because we got to move on. Pauline. We're going to have Hazel do it. Hazel, read what you wrote for number 6. Oh, first of all, let's read it out loud. Unless you have nothing. But I think you should have something, right? Because there's people around you. Agree and disagree with the following statement and give reasons to support your answer. Fruit flies appear to be closely related to silkworm moths than they are to screwworm flies. You would then look at you're going to look at this information right here. So look at the screwworm fly versus the silkworm moth. Sorry. The statement says, agree or disagree. It says, fruit flies appear to be more closely related to silkworm moths than they are to screwworm flies. Hazel, what did you write?
I said I disagree with the fruit flies and
Silkworm moths. Silkworm moths. Silkworm moths. Right? Moths.
I said,
Yes, go ahead.
oh,
Agree or disagree?
I disagree
Okay, and why?
because fruit flies and screwworm flies are both black, and they're from the same species and have less amino acids.
Less amino. They're great. They're both flies, and they have. But really, what's most important is they have less what? Differences. Very good. Thank you, Hazel. If you look at them, you guys should have put them right here. Screwworm flies should only have 2 differences. How many differences of fruit worm and a silkworm moth? 15, right? Is it 15 or 14? What is it?
15.
Bam. That statement had it backwards. They said that fruit flies were more closely related to moths. No, it's not. There's way more differences in the DNA. So that means that we have to travel further back in time to have a common ancestor between a fruit fly and a moth, and between a fruit fly and another fly. Right? So it'd be common sense, right? They must have branched off much more recently in the history of evolution. And so there's going to be less time that has passed for accumulations of genetic mutations to happen that would have changed their DNA. Now, put this away. Take out your phones. A little evolution Kahoot. Let me sure I'm doing the right one here. Hold on. Here you go, guys. Can you what? No, second pass yourself. No more passes, guys. We're done.
No, I was
No more passes. We're done. Hold it. Get your lawyer.
That's illegal. This one
If you have a true
No, this one girl in my
emergency,
class,
I'll
she
obviously
said-
let you go to the bathroom.
My teacher will be like, you can't go. She's like, that's illegal. You can't do that. That's illegal.
Just you go outside. I can't have you guys sit here and have your bladder burst. If you truly have an emergency, you have to go. But for those of you who like are going because you're bored or you don't want to be here or you got to go text somebody, I'm gonna just go in that general direction.
Oh man.
So I try to minimize my mess. I have to go pee. I just had like 3 cups of coffee and a Mountain Dew. I'm about to burst right now. You know what? I can hold it because I'm a grown ass man.
No, you're not.
Always gotta go. Yeah. What?
Alright, I'm gonna kick out everybody who has a nickname, and only those who have last name and first initial can play.
I didn't know.
Or first name, last name, just your name. So my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Gone. I know Michael's army. Oh, sorry, McKenna. Didn't mean to kick you out. That's fine. That's fine.
Why? What's the pin?
Everybody's fine.
7, 9.
Always put that.
I don't know what the fuck mass is, but I put moss up there. Okay,
I need at least 20 people participating, or like around 18, in order to start.
The Wi-Fi
Just
Thank you.
Just use your Wi-Fi.
Eve.
that is your name.
I don't know talking about it. I don't know where Same. I don't feel comfortable. I would feel
Who's Mike Hawk? Oh.
Wait, what?
That's upset.
Wow, they put my
Oh my god. Alright, let's start. That's kind of what it is.
Are you ready?
I was kicked out?
You can always join again, guys. It's right here, bottom left hand corner, 175793. Are they all different, or are they all the same? But you know what? They all survived, so what's that an example of? Overproduction would be like just 1,000 bunnies, right?
Is this the same art piece?
I get another food, Damn, I'm so smart. 19th place.
Yes, move up to 17th place.
We had the teachers do this in the faculty meeting on Tuesday, and you should have seen the nicknames that they were throwing up there too. So it wasn't much appropriate. But we do the same crap that you guys do.
He's at tennis.
He's embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I wouldn't be embarrassed about being an athlete.
How am I still 18th place?
Michael. Okay. These are the type of questions that will be on the quiz.
How is he very like act like he's not?
I don't know. Well, I'm not hurt.
Oh, Eve, you put your hair in a ponytail. You like this? You make I think that's a braid. You make the bun. I'm only getting braids now. So nice. I wake up like 30 That's what I want. I'm probably gonna get them this summer. Yeah. When you take these out, I'm gonna have a wash my hair and put it brown. Get your hair done.
Everybody is blue. Gerard starts off later and sounds
E, you better get that throwback picture off the screen. Shut up.
20, come on.
Oh, now it's 30.
I was 10.
I'm in 2030. There's 23. I can't read. Please tell me it's included.
It's the green one. Isn't it?
I put the red one. I put the green one. I know it's not blue, I know it's Hey, I'm being Jordan.
What letter is it? Look like a tree
Hey, I made it to 21st. Katie said that I didn't. I know it's not on
Yeah, it moves up. Where do you like it?
How did I move down? Charge it over here.
This is gonna be on the test.
Yeah, we like now. I'm in 8th place now.
I don't know what you say. Now you're behind me. No, I'm behind you. I never felt a day in my life being shut up.
How many questions are there?
E. What's the orange one say?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
The sugar.
This is hard to read. There's so many to look at. Chris, you lied. You said fish.
Yes. Damn, I'm last.
I believe you. I'm in 10th place.
Jordan, why are you laughing? You went from 14 to 22.
timing.
What? You said you went from 14 to 24.
Almost done.
Read all that.
This is the dude that was like, if a giraffe wants to eat from tall trees, its neck grows to the Hey, what time is the pep rally?
Third. The end of your, not even in the third. I have a first year. Meet up with
I missed 7 now.
Worry about your own.
Oh, the internet, please. Thank God.
Oh, it might be right though.
Your internet don't work.
Oh no, it's not
This is how we define a species.
Can we watch another true fact?
Go home and Google them all day long. Because you'd rather be doing that than doing what I have you doing.
No, like I
Two more questions.
I like get this one wrong.
I update your grade in about 45 minutes.
Oh, wait.
It looks very, very bad.
Is it yellow? Is it adaptation or? I put mutation. You put
And then
adaptation.
go to Schoology and then look at the screencast. It's me explaining how to do it. I got you, Najee. Okay, well, you can go to the bed and back.
Oh!
Whatever works. Last one. Last question.
There's still one more?
One more.
Oh, I had too fast for no reason.
That was long. Let me see that picture. Let me see. Oh, yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the. I passed it to everybody. Should have it in front of them.
Jordan.
Everybody, let's give Gerard a round of applause.
Really start from the bottom.
I learned something.
Gerard! I think you are back-to-back defending champion of the code. Somebody please try to beat him, please.
Yeah.
We're gonna music one?
We will if we get this done the way that I need for it to get done. All right, back in your seat.
Got you.
Take this piece of paper out in front of you. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. We will have some silent reading while you read all of this and up to, why am I competing in conversations? You will stop reading here. Ladies, can I get you guys in your seats? No, let's get back to our seats. I need you to read, including the types of mutations and then the potential results of mutations. When you're done reading, I'm going to call out about 3 people and I'm going to ask you a specific question. I'm going to ask you, hold on, guys, I'm in the middle of giving direct instruction, right? Which is the one thing that I don't like to be interrupted in. I'm going to call on 3 people that I'm going to ask them a question specifically about the reading. You have 5 minutes, go. Actually, you have 4 minutes, sorry. What? I have a whole stack of them, and they're in the back in the binder of the bin. It should be silent reading. Samantha. Michael. silent reading because a lot of people need silence to read. Tracy, do you want to give me your phone or do you want to put it away? How are we doing? Who's done reading? Okay. 3 more minutes.
We get to speak. Yeah, we get to speak.
Kids hit those lovely ass Ralph Is it from Marshall's? Your sister was it?
Was that timed correctly?
No.
No.
Oh. All right. Question number 1. Ready? I'm just gonna randomly do the first one, and then I'm gonna pick the other ones. Michael. Michael. What does the MC1R gene control?
Oh.
The color of what? And how does it do that? Let's add to that. By the way, you're correct. Thank you. Yes. What's the molecule we're looking at?
Pigments.
What's the name of the pigment? Yeah, there's 2 different types of melanin, right? Yes, if it's phenomelanin, it becomes what color? Tan, light. If it's eumelanin, it becomes dark. Dark. Okay, good. So that's what it does. Number 2, second question. Thank you. What type of genetic mutation is the DNA changed, but the amino acid is not? What type of mutation is the DNA altered, but the amino acid is not? Go. It's from the reading. Which type of mutation is the amino acid not altered, even though the DNA changed?
Deletion mutation.
No, because I literally deleted a letter and everything shifts over. I have a frame shift mutation. It's going to jack up everything. Just like when I deleted a letter from the fat cat ate the rat, it changed everything afterwards, did it not? A deletion and an insertion is a frame shift mutation, and it will dramatically alter the amino acid sequence. I'm saying if you alter one of the letters, if it does not change the amino acid in place,
Silent mutation.
thank you very much, silent mutation. Second question, third question. What do you call a mutation that I alter the nucleotide of the DNA and it swaps out one amino acid for another amino acid? Hold on. I alter the DNA and instead of like arginine, it's leucine. Stephanie, where you at? There you go. It is a substitution, but I can substitute and create a silent mutation, or I can create any one of the other 2 mutations. What type of mutation swaps one amino acid for another amino acid? Stephanie. A missense. So then what is a nonsense mutation, Samantha Gilby? Look at it back later. What is a nonsense mutation? What is nonsense? Huh? No, it is pointless. What happens in a nonsense mutation? G. Gerard.
A premature stop codon.
A premature stop codon. So if the protein's supposed to be 146 amino acids long, like hemoglobin, and on the 8th amino acid it says stop. So now I have this tiny little polypeptide chain, that's going to totally jack up that protein. So badly, it's just nonsense. But if the 104th amino acid, I can hear the music. Thank you. You swap one amino acid for the other, that's called missense. Okay, so everybody open up your packets to the second page. Follow along with me. And look at, actually the third page, sorry. Look at this. Take about 10 seconds to look at it and see if you can kind of make sense of what we're looking at here. These are our gene tables. Notice what the rows are titled, right? Notice what we have on the columns. This right here might not make sense to you guys, so you might want to just ignore that for now. But this strip is titled wild type NCR gene for the light colored coat. This is the mutant. So just look at that for a second. Just look at it. What do you think? By the way, guys, we're comparing the same gene in 2 types of mice. Wild type mouse is light colored. The mutant mouse dark color. So this is the DNA of the wild type. This is the DNA of the mutant. So I'm going to compare the DNA. But look, what does this mean right here? Somebody raised their hand. Carla, let me see your cell phone too. You can just get up, walk over here, set it on my desk, get it at the end of the period. Somebody raised their hand and explain to me, what does this number 15 represent? Yes, Jordan. The amino acid. So amino acid number 1 through 14, they're not showing. Just to save us some time. Thank you, Carla. Now, it goes all the way up to 24. So this is number 16, 17, 18, 19. Because remember, guys, proteins are chains, and these are the links, the amino acids. And then it stops. Then it picks up right here, look. So we just skipped 25 through 104 because we don't want this big, long 75-page worksheet, right? I'm going to save you guys some time. I'm just going to observe little chunks of the gene. So, Mr. Vieira, what's the point? I still don't understand. What are we doing? Okay, well, I'm going to do the first couple for you, and you will finish the rest. The first thing I need to do is I need to take DNA and turn it into messenger RNA. What process is that? By raise of hand, starts with a T. Transcription. Thank you, Samantha. We're going to go transcription. Across from T is a? Across from G is a? C. So if the DNA is A, then the RNA is U. If the DNA is T, then the RNA is A. If the DNA is C, then it's G, and the DNA is G, it is C. Got it, guys? You might want to write that somewhere so you don't forget. Now that I have the code, how do I know what amino acid is coming over onto the ribosome from being carried by the transfer RNA? What am I going to use, Sam?
Translation.
Yeah, that is the process of translation. Thank you. And guess what you guys have at the last page? The last page right here, look. That's the last page. So, go back. Sorry. If you go back, what's AAC got a code for? So I need to use my code on chart. By the way, guys, if you don't know how to do what I'm doing, I have a screencast of this. I'm going to go to start. The first letter is in the middle, A. Second letter is on the outside ring from that. And then the last letter is the final outside ring, AAC. That's going to code for asparagine, which has the abbreviation ASN. So the code on the messenger RNA was AAC, and it codes for that. Everybody see that? Let's do the next one. What's going to go from AGG? What's going to be?
ASN goes to the
ASN right there. Yeah. And so UCC, let's go to the codon chart. Let's erase all this right here, right? It's going to be UCC, right? Is that what I said? U, C, C, serine. So now I'm going to write serine. Now, guys, look. The mutant type, that's the same, that's the same, that's the same. So it's going to be exactly the same. You don't need to do it twice. Just copy it. Copy it, right? It's UCC. That's going to be ACC. What's ACC, guys? What's ACC? Threonine. THR. Thank you. Ah! What do we have here? Is it the same?
No.
Ah, so now is where we actually have the mutation. Guys, look. I swapped out a G for an A. What type of mutation is that? Substitution, insertion, or deletion? Substitution. because everything else is different. If I would have deleted something, it would have affected every amino acid or every messenger RNA after it. Huh? THR, correct. Yes, I'm sorry, that's THR right here, guys. THR. This is going to be CGC. What does CGC code for? David Moreno, help me.
ARG.
C,
ARG.
G, right? C. Now look, in the brown mutant, there was a mutation. And now it's going to be UGC. What is that code for? Cysteine. It's like citric or something. So now, I go to the second page, and I say, I know that's not blue. This is blue right here, right? Kind of bluish. If it was a silent, that's bluish, you guys just cut me some slack. If it was a silent mutation, I use blue. If it was a nonsense mutation, right, I'm going to use green. And if it was a missense where I just swapped it out, I use red. What color am I going to highlight that with? What type of mutation where it mutated and it changed the whole thing to another thing? What type is it? If it was a silent mutation, what would I expect to see if there was different DNA? What would happen in a silent mutation? If this was a silent mutation, what would the mutant amino acid be?
It would stay the same because it's not supposed to change.
There'd be no change. So what would it be, Gerard?
It would be arginine.
It would still be arginine. So you do the same thing for the rest of this, and you'll notice same. Oh, check it out. We got a mutation there. All right, same. Oh, check it out. We got a mutation there. No, do it all. Okay, now then you do that piece, and there's another page afterwards. Don't forget these two. And then you're going to say, okay, how many mutations were there? What type of mutations were they? Was it a missense? Was it a nonsense? Or was it a silent mutation? And then that kind of gets you thinking a little bit. Number 6, guys, this question right here, don't worry so much about number 6. Okay? Which it talks about like where the location of this enzyme. We'll talk about that as a classroom discussion. Yes? Because you need, no, the DNA, which gets mutated, then that's going to then change what the messenger RNA is. Yeah, so you've changed the DNA, right? So then transcribe it into the messenger RNA, and then that's the code that you use on the codon chart to figure out which amino acid's coming over. Yeah, but I don't know what amino acid it would be, right? Because sometimes you can change the DNA, and it's still going to code for the same amino acid. And I don't know that until I transcribe it into messenger RNA and then use that code and my codon chart to see what it actually codes for still. Because you can have a mutation and have no effect because it coded for the same amino acid. Those are absolutely. Okay. Okay, transmembrane. So the stuff on the side talks about where this protein is. This protein is wedged in the cell membrane of these skin cells of these mice. And so here's a cell, right? And if you guys remember from the beginning of the year, a cell membrane has two layers. Do you remember that? Remember the phospholipid bilayer, little circles that are right? Those are my little phospholipids. Remember my little phospholipids? The inside of the cell membrane is like fat. It's nonpolar, made up of fatty acid tails that are hydrophobic, afraid of water. Now, wedged in the membrane is this protein. And so a protein is nothing but, I'm going to draw this again, a chain of amino acids, right? Here's my chain of amino acids folded up. and there'd be like amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, and then they're attracted to each other from like right here and then right here, and then they're gonna like cause this three-dimensional shape. Well, part of that protein is on the outside, part of it's wedged in the middle, part of it's on the inside, and some of it goes back outside like that. This part of the protein is called the extracellular part. So something would like bond to the outside of this, causing some sort of reaction on the inside of the cell, and tells this cell produce a lot of pigment, causing a dark mouse. Okay, or if it's mutated a different way, then it would produce a different pigment, causing a light mouse. So really, it's the shape of this enzyme, and what this enzyme does by turning on the production of a different protein, which is melanin. So that's at a seriously complex molecular level how we get to have light mice and dark mice. We change the DNA and we change the shape of the protein. If you change the shape of the protein, you change what the protein does. And so this is the transmembrane part, which should also be made up of amino acids that are similar to the membrane, which is nonpolar. I can't mix oil and water, I have to mix oil and oil. So if this part of the protein is wedged in here, then I know that all of the amino acids that are in that region are also nonpolar. They have no charge. They are not attracted to water. And this part right here is the intracellular. So the part of the gene that codes for that part of the protein is the intracellular. So if I were to take this protein and unravel it, right? I didn't take that shoestring and unravel it. There's a gene of DNA that starts from 1 all the way to the end. And it folds up, and these are all just letters. A, T, T, C, G, right? And every 3 codes for amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid. And this protein folds up to a shape, and that's the protein. And that's how, guys, that's how everything in life works. And that's how we started off as a cell and evolved into a human. By random changes in all the enzymes and proteins since we were one cell and causing change. Sometimes changes are bad, and that's going to die, and we're not going to pass those on. Sometimes changes have no effect. They're just there, silent mutations. And sometimes changes are good. And if that organism has a change that makes him more fit, he's going to have more babies, and the population will start to look like these guys, and everybody else is going to die off. So have this go on for the last 3.5, 3.6 billion years, and you end up having, the most ancient of organisms, bacteria, and they're still around today. They're perfectly evolved for their environment. And some of them have evolved into something like, I don't know, you and I. And all we have is just mountains and mountains of evidence that always point to the exact same theory. Okay? Every time. No, we have a common ancestor about 3 billion years old with bacteria. That doesn't look like us. It's just another single cell. A lot of time has passed, and a lot of evolution has happened, and a lot of random genetic mutations have piled up in that gene that have caused the different changes and the different tree branches that eventually led to that little flower at the end of that tree that is humans. Now, a lot of branches have gotten dead ends, and those flowers are dead, and those organisms are extinct. How do my hands get blue? A racing blue expo marker on the whiteboard. Class is out in about 15 minutes, 14 minutes, or something like that. You guys have that time to finish this and answer the questions. Okay? If you're good for the next 9 minutes, I'll put on the music. Good. Actually, we'll say 7 minutes from now. Okay? And I don't think anybody can get 12 out of 12, to be honest. Because there's some poppy questions on it.